ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد. Alhamdulillah, we praise Allah Azza wa Jalla that has gathered us in this masjid during this blessed time, and we ask Allah Azza wa Jalla to gather us in the masjid always in all of the salah. Inshallah, may Allah Azza wa Jalla make us attached to the masjid. As our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said in the hadith that there is a group of people that will be actually shield on the day of judgment. There is 7 group of people that actually will be shield on the day of judgment. And one of them is that his heart is actually attached to the masjid. His heart is actually attached to the masjid. وَقَلْبُهُ مُعَلَّقٌ فِي الْمَسَاجِدِ. His heart is always attached to the masjid. He always wants to actually be present in the masjid. So inshallah, every Saturday actually we'll be discussing about the major sins by the book of Imam Al-Dhahabi. We'll be discussing some of the major sins of Islam. Because we understand that, let's say a person actually were to avoid the major sin, inshallah Allah Azza wa Jalla actually will grant him paradise. Because Allah Azza wa Jalla says in the Quran, if you actually avoid the major sin, Allah Azza wa Jalla actually will expiate your sin, and Allah Azza wa Jalla actually will put you into paradise. And we understand that it's not possible for everyone actually to attend every Saturday night to study this book because of other commitments. So because of that, actually we have created a Facebook channel, Instagram channel, and we have created a YouTube channel and also a Telegram channel actually for you to actually follow up. Let's say you are unable to attend a certain lesson, inshallah you can actually follow up through this thing. Another thing is because actually they are not attached to the masjid now. So because for them to be attached, we created this channel for them actually to have awareness, to have knowledge about this major sin. So what actually we have done with together with the masjid is obviously that we have printed a name card which actually will give you some of the links to this channel, the Instagram, the Facebook, and this YouTube. And actually it has been distributed by some of the youth here, and on top of the female also there is some Muslimah actually will be distributing these name cards. I encourage you to take, if you want to take more than one, no problem, take it and distribute it. Maybe you might not be interested in this channel, but your children, your relatives, they are most of their time, they are spending their time in this channel, this social media. Their life is actually now social media. So you need to actually encourage them to avoid major sin through going through these channels, So spread it and encourage people to actually have it. And we have actually sufficient sets for you to distribute. So I encourage you to distribute. Hope Allah Azza wa Jalla actually put this in your scale, your good scale in the day of judgment, inshallah. So Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said the hadith that Adalu al-Khair kafa'ilihi, the one actually encourage a person to do good deed, he will get the equal amount of reward as the person who is doing the same deed. For example, you encourage a person to pray. So the moment he starts to pray, you get the reward of him praying throughout his life. You encourage a person actually to give zakat. The moment you encourage him, throughout whatever actually he gives zakat, the reward actually you also will get. So this is actually a simple way for you to actually to get reward. And that is the ذَلِكَ فَضْلُ اللَّهِ يُؤْتِيهِ مَنْ يَشَاءُ Wallahu dhul fadl al-azim. This is one of the bounty and the grace of Allah Azza wa Jal. Allah gives to whoever He wish, and Allah Azza wa Jal is the only one who has the possession of His grace and bounty or the fadl. So distribute it, inshallah. When at the end of the session, actually we will distribute more. And let's say you did not get those cards, you can come in front and actually you can get this thing. So you don't be shy, come and take this thing. As Mujahid says that 2 group of people, they will never be able to seek religious knowledge. Okay? The first one, the person who is arrogant, you will never gain religious knowledge. And second one, a person who is shy will never gain religious knowledge. So if you don't be shy, you will be embarrassed. You are just taking this card, so you are actually to avoid the major sin. Does not mean that you are committing major sin if you come here and take these cards, inshallah. So today actually we will discuss the next major sin, which actually is to refuse to pay the zakat. Okay, whoever actually refuses to pay the zakat, he or she is actually committing a major sin. Committing a major sin. Allah Azza wa Jal actually has created mankind. Allah Azza wa Jal has actually created mankind where they are in need of wealth actually. Allah Azza wa Jal actually has created mankind where they are in need of money or in need of wealth for them to actually survive. And Allah Azza wa Jal actually has actually said in the Quran that Allah Azza wa Jal has created all of those things that in this dunya is for the mankind to actually possess, to enjoy it. Allah says in Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 29, هو الذي خلق لكم ما في الأرض جميعا. It is He, Allah, who created for mankind all of that which is on earth for them to possess. That means Allah Azza wa Jal actually has created everything in this dunya for the purpose of mankind actually to enjoy it and to actually to possess it. And Allah Azza wa Jal actually has created mankind, and Allah Azza wa Jal actually has preferred mankind where some of them will be rich and some of them will be poor. This is one of the nature of Allah Azza wa Jal that has created. Allah Azza wa Jal says in Surah Al-Nahl, verse 71, وَاللَّهُ فَضَّلَ بَعْضَكُمْ عَلَى بَعْضٍ فِي الرِّزْقِ. Allah has favored some of you over others in provision. That means some of them will be rich and some of them actually will be poor. So Allah Azza wa Jal is the one actually who favored. And Allah Azza wa Jal actually also have emphasized that although Allah Azza wa Jal has preferred some of them over the other in provision or risk, the one who actually is the source of giving the provision is Allah Azza wa Jal. Someone can be rich, the other one can be poor, but all of them, the provider is actually Allah Azza wa Jal. So Allah Azza wa Jal says in Surah Al-Ra'd, verse 26, Allahu yabsutu rizqa liman yasha'u wa yaqdir wa farihu bil hayati dunya wa man hayatu dunya fil akhirati illa mata. Allah extends provision for whom He wills and He restricts it whoever He wishes. That means Allah Azza wa Jal makes someone rich, whoever He wish, and Allah Azza wa Jal makes someone poor, whoever Allah Azza wa Jal wish to. And they rejoice in the worldly life, while the worldly life is not compared to hereafter except a brief enjoyment. And Allah Azza wa Jal also says in Surah Al-Ankabut, verse 60, وَكَأَيٍّ مِّن دَابَّةٍ لَا تَحْمِلُ رِزْقَهَا اللَّهُ يَرْزُقُهَا وَإِيَّاكُمْ وَهُوَ السَّمِيعُ الْعَلِيمُ. And how many a creature carries not its own provision? That means the creature does not create its own risk or provision food. Allah provides for it and for you. Allah provides for the creatures, the animals, and Allah also provides for the mankind. And He is the hearing and He is the all-knowing. And Allah Azza wa Jalla also says in Surah Al-Hud, Surah Hud, verse 6, وَمَا مِن دَابَّةٍ فِي الْأَرْضِ إِلَّا عَلَى اللَّهِ رِزْقُهَا وَيَعْلَمُ مُسْتَقَرَّهَا وَمُسْتَوْدَعَهَا كُلٌّ فِي كِتَابٍ مُبِينٍ. There is no creature on earth but that upon Allah is its provision. There is no creation that Allah Azza wa Jal has created, that Allah Azza wa Jal actually has actually destined for them the risk or provision that they will have. And He knows its place of dwelling and place of storage, all is in a clear register. And Allah Azza wa Jal actually, after creating everything for mankind and said that He is the source of actually the person who give all this risk, Allah Azza wa Jal actually allowed them actually to spend whatever they actually want according, so long it is actually is halal. And anything which is haram, Allah Azza wa Jal actually has actually forbidden it. And Allah Azza wa Jal says in Surah Al-A'raf verse 31, Ya bani Adam khudhu zinatakum inda kulli masjidin wa kulu wa shrabu wa la tusrifu innahu la yuhibbul musrifin. O children of Adam, take your adornment at every masjid and beautify yourself when you go to the masjid, or cover your aura when you go to the masjid, and eat and drink. You can eat whatever you want from your wealth, you can drink whatever you want from your wealth, but be not excessive. Do not be excessive. Indeed, He likes not those who commit excess. So Allah Azza wa Jalla actually have emphasized this in the Quran, that Allah Azza wa Jalla actually is the one who provides, and Allah Azza wa Jalla actually is the one actually give them the risk. And Allah Azza wa Jalla actually have said that Allah Azza wa Jalla has provided for you, but you need to actually spend it according to the instruction of Allah Azza wa Jalla. As Allah Azza wa Jalla says in Surah Al-Hadid, verse 7, Surah Al-Hadid, verse 7, آمنوا بالله ورسوله وأنفقوا مما جعلكم مستخلفين فيه فالذين آمنوا منكم وأنفقوا لهم أجر كبير. Believe in Allah and His Messenger, and spend of that whereof He has made you trustees. And such of you as believe and spend in Allah's way, theirs will be a great reward. So after Allah Azza wa Jalla has said that He is the one, He has given everything for humankind to possess, and after that Allah Azza wa Jalla actually has emphasized that He is the Razzaq, He is the one who provides for you. And Allah Azza wa Jalla also said that He actually preferred certain humankind, some are rich, some are poor. After that Allah Azza wa Jalla actually gave His stance that whatever you have in your dunya, whatever you have in your possession of wealth, it does not belong to you totally. Allah Azza wa Jalla has made you as trustees. In other words, you have been given the wealth as an amana, as a trustees. You only need to spend it according to the direction of Allah Azza wa Jalla has given. So you need to spend it according to the guidance of the Sharia, the guidance of Islam. That is the way that you need to actually spend it. So Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam actually said that when a person actually dies, put inside the grave, his feet will not shake. That means his feet will not move until he will be questioned about 5 things, and one of it, he will be asked about his wealth, how he gained his wealth, and how actually he spent his wealth. That's why one of the arkan of Islam has made that Allah Azza wa Jalla has made a point that it is important to give direction to humankind, that how they actually spend their wealth. Okay? Because without direction, Allah Azza wa Jalla, without direction of Allah Azza wa Jalla, many of the humankind will become rebellious. That's what Allah Azza wa Jalla says in the Quran, وَلَوْ بَسَطَ اللَّهُ رِزْقَ لِعِبَادِهِ لَبَغَوْا فِي الْأَرْضِ وَلَكِنْ يُنَزِّلُ بِقَدَرِهِ عَلَى مَا يَشَاءُ. Allah Azza wa Jalla says in the Quran that we will give abundance of wealth to the humankind. That means we make all the humankind millionaire, or all of the human billionaire. They will actually create transgression in this dunya. They will actually rebellious, disobey to Allah Azza wa Jalla. But Allah Azza wa Jalla sent the risk in stages. Allah Azza wa Jalla give the risk in stages. Part by part Allah Azza wa Jalla give, so that they will actually not be rebellious. So that's why Allah Azza wa Jalla actually one of the way that He wanted actually to guide the humankind so that they will not have evil characteristics. Allah Azza wa Jalla has made it compulsory for all Muslims, all humankind actually to give a portion of their wealth to the needy and the poor, or other beneficiaries of this wealth. So Allah Azza wa Jalla has made zakah as one of actually the arkan of Islam. That means without zakah, Islam does not stand. So Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said in the hadith that Buniya al-Islamu ala khamsin shahadatu an la ilaha illallah wa anna Muhammadan Rasulullah wa iqami salat wa ita'i zakat wa sawmi Ramadan wa hajj al-bayt liman istata'a ilayhi sabila. Islam is built upon 5 pillars. That means without these 5 pillars, there is no Islam. There is no Islam. The first one is to say Shahada, there is no God worthy of worship except Allah, and Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is a messenger of Allah. The second one is to perform your salah. The third one is to give your zakat. And the fourth one, your fasting, Ramadan. The last one is to perform your hajj, whoever is actually able to afford. So Allah Azza wa Jalla actually has made the Islam one of the benefit of Islam is that Allah Azza wa Jalla actually has made zakah actually compulsory. Because it is important in any economic system that there is a need for a person to spend, then actually it will generate income. Actually the wealth actually stored actually will create a lot of problems in the economy. So Allah Azza wa Jalla has made a point that a rich actually need to give some wealth. You cannot always hoard the wealth, or you cannot actually store the wealth. You need to actually spend the portion of the wealth, and it is compulsory for you to spend it every year, and it should be given to the poor. So that's why zakah actually is something which is important in Islam. And zakat became compulsory in the second year of Hijrah. And as I told you earlier, it's the third pillar of Islam. And it is the evidence is in the Quran. Allah Azza wa Jalla says, وَأَقِيمُوا الصَّلَاةَ وَآتُوا زَكَاةَ وَارْكَعُوا مَعَ الرَّاكِعِينَ in Surah Al-Baqarah verse 43. And our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said in the hadith earlier that I mentioned that Islam is built upon 5 pillars, and one of it is to give zakah. The third one is ijma of the scholars, that all of them agree that zakah is one of the pillars. And it is defined, what is the definition of zakah? Is actually an individual is obliged to donate each year a certain portion of wealth which reaches the minimum amount, which is, in other words, in Arabic language called the minimum amount as nisab, to the 8 categories or asnaf mentioned in the Quran. Okay, this is the definition, is known. And for example, our Mu'is here, they define zakah as zakah is the third pillar of Islam, and is the determined share of wealth prescribed by Allah to be distributed to the 8 categories entitled to receive it. It is an ibadah in terms of wealth, a symbol of Islamic social justice. Zakah cleanses your soul, purifies and grows your wealth while eradicating poverty and sins. So zakah actually is defined as an-nama wa ziyada. That means what zakah means actually it will grow your wealth and it will increase your wealth. Okay, the meaning of zakah in Arabic language is an-nama wa ziyada, will increase and actually will grow your wealth. Or it can also mean zakah can mean also to purify a person's wealth. So zakah is one of the important things in Islam. Let me tell you some of the significance of zakah before telling you some of the punishment of people actually who refuse to pay zakah. So Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he wanted to send some Sahaba to other place to preach about Islam, he sent, for example, Mu'adh bin Jabal to Yemen, and he said, invite the people to testify that none has the right to be worshipped but Allah, and I am Allah's messenger. Invite them to Shahada, and if they obey you to do so, then teach them that Allah has enjoined on them 5 prayers in every day and night. That means after they accept the Shahada, tell them to actually pray their Salah. And if let's say they obey you then, let's say they obey you in this commandment, then teach them that Allah has made it compulsory for them to pay the zakah from their property, and it is to be taken from the wealthy among them and given to the poor. So zakah is actually paid by the rich to the poor. Not everyone has to pay zakah. a zakah has been given by the rich and given to the poor. So what is rich? Anyone whose wealth reached the status of nisab. Nisab is considered as a person who is rich and need to give 2.5 of his wealth to the poor and needy. So 2.5% of 5,000, let's say the nisab now is 5,000, 2.5% of 5,000 is how much? Calculator. 125, right? 125. So 125, we compare with 5,000, it is what? Peanuts. It's peanuts. $125 with 5,000 is nothing. You still have more than about over $4,700. Okay, you have of the wealth. So 2.5% of 50,000 is how much? 1,250. 1,250. A person has 50,000 nisab, you only need to give 1,250. So 1,250 or 50,000 is what? It's a peanut. It's nothing to you. It's nothing to the rich person. So let's double it. So 500,000. 2.5% of 500,000 is how much? 12,500. 12,500. So 12,500 to a person at 500,000, what's that? It's peanuts to him actually. You ask him, the small thing, peanuts. I will tell you why peanuts to you. Okay? So 2.5% of 5 million, how much is it? 125,000. Okay? So that one is actually peanuts for him. So this is zakah. Allah Azza wa Jalla does not take out the decimal, put the decimal for you. 2.5. It's not 25%, not 1/4 of your wealth. Okay? It's only 1 out of 40 of a person's wealth. Okay? So you want to calculate zakah, how you want to know zakah, you see your nisab, how many wealth you have in your wealth, and you divide by 40. Simple as that. 1 of 40 of wealth. But these people who are wealthy, people who are rich, when it comes to zakah, it is difficult for them to take out from their pocket. It's difficult for them to pocket. That's why you don't see zakat is person who is poor. 5,000, 125 you see like that. But the more I increase the wealth, I show it to you, the more I increase the wealth, it's more difficult for a person to take out the money. So it is said that mal is actually the qarin rule. Your wealth is actually something which actually is like the partner of your ruh, partner of your soul. So the moment a person actually get more wealth, it is more attached to a person's soul. But let's say ask him to stay with that amount of money, he stay in 5-star hotel or to open a big party which costs millions of dollars, he will just immediately transfer it from the account and will just record it as expenses. But the moment actually you want him to give that to a poor person, it's difficult for him. So actually Sharia or Islam actually came hard to this group of people and said that whoever has the means to pay zakah or whoever is actually qualified to pay zakah and he or she does not pay the zakah has committed a major sin. So Allah Azza wa Jalla says in Surah At-Tawbah verse 34 and 35, وَالَّذِينَ يَكْنِزُونَ الذَّهَبَ وَالْفِضَّةَ وَلَا يُنْفِقُونَها فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ فَبَشِّرْهُمْ بِعَذَابٍ أَلِيمٍ يَوْمَ يُحْمَى عَلَيْهَا فِي نَارِ جَهَنَّمَ فَتُكْوَى بِهَا جِبَاهُهُمْ وَجُنُوبُهُمْ وَظُهُورُهُم هَذَا مَا كَنَزْتُمْ لِأَنفُسِكُمْ فَذُوقُوا مَا كُنْتُمْ تَكْنِزُونَ. And those who hoard up gold and silver, that means they store their own gold and silver, and they do not spend in the way of Allah, that means they do not give their zakah. Announce unto them a painful torment, that means they will be actually punished severely in the hereafter. On the day when the al-kanz, that means their wealth, will be heated in the fire. On the day of judgment, their gold, their silver will be heated on the hellfire and will be branded their foreheads. Okay, will be heated. The wealth will be heated with fire, and those wealth will be used to be brand their foreheads, okay, their flanks, their sides, okay, and their backs. This is the treasure which you hoarded for yourself. Now taste of what you used to hoard, what you used to actually hoard. So the people actually will be punished because of not paying the zakat. So our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam also actually gave a severe warning of people actually do not pay the zakat. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, whoever Allah gives wealth to but doesn't pay zakat for it, whoever Allah Azza wa Jal make him rich, Allah Azza wa Jal bestowed him with wealth, but he does not pay his zakat, a large snake with two black dots above his eyes will take form from him and squeeze him on the day of judgment. Okay, whoever does not pay zakat, okay, on the day of judgment, a large snake, okay, will take the form and it will actually squeeze this person, okay, and will tell him, I am your wealth, I am your cunt. Okay, the snake will take him by the corners of his mouth and say, I am your wealth, I am your cunt. That means the snake will come like how the snake will be coming representing his wealth. They represent his wealth and come in the picture of a snake. And after that, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, after saying that the snake actually will come and will tie a person who did not pay zakat, Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam read this ayah in Surah Al-Imran, verse 180. ولا يحسبن الذين يبخلون بما آتاهم الله من فضله هو خيرا لهم بل هو شر لهم سيطوقون ما بخلوا به يوم القيامة ولله ميراث السماوات والأرض والله بما تعملون خبير. And let not those who greedily withhold what Allah has given them of His bounty, everything that is better for them. Do not think that you actually holding your wealth, not giving to the poor and needy is good for you. Rather, it is worse for them. That means they will not have barakah, they will not have blessing in this dunya, and the hereafter they will be actually punished. Their necks will be encircled by what they withheld on the day of resurrection, and to Allah belongs the heritage of the heaven and the earth, and Allah with what you do is fully acquainted. So Allah Azza wa Jalla is giving a severe punishment of people actually who did not actually pay zakat. And our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam actually threatened a certain group of people actually who did not pay zakat. At the same time, actually Islam actually encouraged that whoever actually give zakah, whoever give charity in Allah's cause, Allah Azza wa Jalla actually will multiply it for you. As Allah Azza wa Jalla says in Surah Al-Baqarah, Allah says in Surah Al-Baqarah verse 261 and 262, مثل الذين ينفقون أموالهم في سبيل الله كمثل حبة أنبتت 7 سنابل في كل سنبله 100 حبة والله يضاعف لمن يشاء والله واسع عليم. الذين ينفقون أموالهم في سبيل الله ثم لا يتبعون ما أنفقوا منا ولا أذى لهم أجرهم عند ربهم ولا خوف عليهم ولا هم يحزنون. The example of those who spend their wealth in the way of Allah is like a seed. This is in Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 261 and 262. The example of those who spend their wealth in the way of Allah is like a seed of grain, which grows 7 spikes. In each spike is 100 grains. So Allah is already giving a similitude. Whoever gives $1, okay, in charity, $1 in charity is like a seed. For example, 1 seed, and the seed has what? 7 spikes, and each spike has how many grains? Has 100 grains. So 1 seed is multiplied into 700. So you give $1, it is as if multiplied to 700, and Allah Azza wa Jalla actually multiply whatever He wish. So Allah says that Allah multiplies His reward for whom He wills, and Allah is all encompassing and knowing. Those who spend their wealth in the way of Allah and do not follow up what they have spent, reminders of it, or other injury will have their reward with their Lord, and there will be no fear concerning them, nor will they be grieved. That means, after you give charity to a poor person or a needy, do not say that I'm the one who give it to you. Do not do not try to mention some of the favors, because the wealth actually that you have given to him, actually it's not your wealth, it's actually Allah's wealth. 2.5% actually does not belong to you, it belongs to the poor and needy. So this is something which actually is important here to actually highlight that Allah Azza wa Jalla actually has said that Allah Azza wa Jalla actually will multiply the wealth that actually you give in charity. That means there is no loss. In this dunya, Allah Azza wa Jalla will bless your wealth, will bless your family, will bless your children, and in the hereafter, Allah Azza wa Jalla actually will give you, multiply your reward with the day of judgment. How many rich people actually who actually did not give their wealth in charity or did not give their zakah? How many of them actually, after they actually passed away, how many destruction actually happened to their families and children? Okay, so Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said in the hadith when he said, give the explanation of Alhaakum al-Takathur, the people who increased their wealth and did not count their wealth and did not give in charity. Allah Azza wa Jalla actually says that their abundance actually diverts them from the remembrance of Allah. So our Prophet ﷺ said that the son of Adam claims my wealth. The son of Adam, the human, always try to say that this is my wealth, this is my wealth. But is there anything belong to you except that which you consume, which you use, or which you wore and then became worn? Or you give as charity and send it forward. So what Prophet ﷺ trying to say that the son of Adam always trying to say that this is my wealth. This actually is my wealth. He say this is my wealth. But the reality is that your wealth actually does not last. It's either you eat of it from the wealth and then it becomes consumed. And you use it to buy your clothes, and after that it becomes wore out. And the third category is where from your wealth that actually will last for you. You gave it as charity, you spend it for the sake of Allah Azza wa Jal, and Allah actually will send it forward to you in the hereafter, and that will be actually your real treasure in the hereafter. So we've got to know that it is important actually to actually spend in the cause of Allah Azza wa Jal, and Allah Azza wa Jal actually have actually criticized or told people why you don't spend in the cause of Allah Azza wa Jal. And Allah Azza wa Jalla says in Surah Al-Hadid verse 10, what is the matter with you that you spend not in the cause of Allah? What's wrong with you? Allah give you so much wealth. Allah is the one actually make you rich. Allah is the one actually give you so much wealth. You used to be poor last time. Allah Azza wa Jalla give you wealth, make you rich. What is matter with you that you do not spend in the way of Allah? And to Allah belongs the heritage of the heaven and the earth. Okay? And Allah Azza wa Jalla after that says that who is he that will lend Allah a handsome loan? Then he will increase it manifold to his credit, and he will have an honorable reward. That means whoever spends in Allah Azza wa Jalla as if he has given a loan to Allah Azza wa Jalla, that means Allah Azza wa Jalla will surely give back your money, and Allah Azza wa Jalla actually will multiply a person's actually well. So for me, you've got to know that Zakat is one of the actually important part of Islam. So the moment actually a person actually gives his Zakat, Allah Azza wa Jalla actually will multiply it, and Allah Azza wa Jalla actually will reserve the wealth for him in the hereafter. And as I told you earlier, Zakah is actually the Qareeb of Salah. That means whenever actually Zakah comes in the Quran, it comes together with the Salah. وَأَقِيمُوا الصَّلَاةَ وَآتُوا الزَّكَاةَ وَأَقِيمُوا الصَّلَاةَ وَآتُوا Zakah. Perform your Salah and give the Zakah. And Allah Azza wa Jalla actually mentioned about Isa alayhi salatu wasalam, واجعل لي مباركا أينما كنت وأوصاني بالصلاة والزكاة ما دمت حيا. Surah Al-Maryam verse 31. And He has made me blessed wherever I am, and has enjoined upon me prayer and zakah as long as I remain alive. And Allah also mentioned Salat Zakah when Ismail alayhi salam, He says in Surah Al-Maryam also verse 55, وَكَانَ يَأْمُرُ أَهْلَهُ بِالصَّلَاةِ وَالزَّكَاةِ وَكَانَ عِنْدَ رَبِّهِ مَرْضِيًّا. And He used to enjoin on His people prayer and zakah, and was to His Lord pleasing. So zakah always come actually together with zakah, because it is as how salah is important and how we discussed last week. Whoever leaves salah is contaminated. Similarly, zakah is very important, and Allah Azza wa Jalla actually said that performing salah is one of the characteristics of believers, and Allah Azza wa Jalla will give mercy in their life. Allah says in Surah At-Tawbah, verse 71, وَالْمُؤْمِنُونَ وَالْمُؤْمِنَاتُ بَعْضُهُمْ أَوْلِيَاءُ بَعْضٍ يَأْمُرُونَ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ وَيَنْهَوْنَ عَنِ الْمُنكَرِ وَيُقِيمُونَ الصَّلَاةَ وَيُؤْتُونَ الزَّكَاةَ وَيُطِيعُونَ اللَّهَ وَرَسُولَهُ أُولَٰئِكَ سَيَرْحَمُهُمُ اللَّهُ إِنَّ اللَّهَ عَزِيزٌ حَكِيمٌ. The believing men and believing women are enemies of one another. They enjoy what is right and forbid what is wrong, and they establish prayer, and they give zakah and obey Allah and His Messenger. So Allah said, whoever have these characteristics, those Allah will have mercy upon them, and then Allah is exalted in mind and wise. Allah is exalted in mind and wise. So Allah Azza wa Jalla also said the opposite. So whoever actually does not give zakah, the people actually are close to the munafiqun. So Allah said, al-munafiqun wal-munafiqatu ba'duhum min ba'd ya'muruna bil-munkari wa yanhauna 'anil munkari wa yaqbiduna aydiyahum nasu Allah fa nasiyahum innal munafiqina humul fasiqun. The hypocrite men and women are of one another. That means they help one another. They enjoy what is wrong. That means they encourage people to do wrong, and they forbid what is right. So whenever they see people do right thing, they forbid it and they close their hands. That means they do not stand in Allah's way. That means they do not give zakah for the sake of Allah Azza wa Jalla. It's difficult for them to give zakah. They have forgotten Allah, so He has forgotten them. It is the hypocrite, it is they who are defiantly disobedient. And Allah Azza wa Jalla also says that whoever actually gives zakah, Allah Azza wa Jalla actually will establish them in this world. Allah Azza wa Jalla actually will give them success in this dunya, and Allah Azza wa Jalla will give them success in the hereafter. Allah says in Surah Al-Hajj, verse 41, الَّذِينَ إِن مَّكَّنَّاهُمْ فِي الْأَرْضِ أَقَامُوا الصَّلَاةَ وَآتُوا الزَّكَاةَ وَأَمَرُوا بِالْمَعْرُوفِ وَنَهَوْا عَنِ الْمُنكَرِ وَلِلَّهِ عَاقِبَةُ الْأُمُورِ. And they are those who, if we give them authority in the land, that means we give them the power actually, they establish prayer and they give zakah and enjoy what is right and forbid what is wrong, and to Allah belongs the outcome of all matters. So we have got to know that actually it's important for a person actually to give zakah. Zakah is something, is the right of the poor and needy. So as Muslim actually we need to give importance actually to learn about zakah and to give to the poor and needy. And every mosque in every masjid in Singapore, there is brochures for you to learn about zakah. Who are the asnaf actually must give zakah, and is it compulsory for you to give zakah or not? All of the details and a different type of wealth, whether you need to give zakah or not. There are brochures in every masjid, and you actually can go and refer to those brochures. And it is important for you to actually give zakah, and it is important that you give zakah so that actually on the day of judgment actually you will not be asking Allah Azza wa Jalla to bring you back to this dunya, so they will do your obligation. As Allah Azza wa Jalla says in Surah Al-Munafiqun, verse 10, Surah Al-Munafiqun, verse 10, Allah says, وَأَنْفِقُوا مِمَّا رَزَقْنَاكُمْ مِنْ قَبْلِ أَنْ يَأْتِيَ أَحَدَكُمُ الْمَوْتُ فَيَقُولَ رَبِّ لَوْلَا أَخَّرْتَنِي إِلَى أَجَلٍ قَرِيبٍ فَأَصَّدَّقَ وَأَكُنْ مِنَ الصَّالِحِينَ وَلَنْ يُؤَخِّرَ اللَّهُ نَفْسًا إِذَا جَاءَ أَجَلُهَا. Allah says, and spend in the way of Allah from what they have provided you before death approaches one of you. That means before death comes, spend in the way of Allah Azza wa Jalla. So when death comes, some of them who did not spend in the way of Allah Azza wa Jalla, they will ask Allah, My Lord, if only you would delay me for a brief term, so I will give charity and be among the righteous. So whoever did not spend in the way of Allah Azza wa Jal, whoever did not give zakah, they will ask Allah Azza wa Jal, give me one more chance. Give me one more chance to come back to dunya. So I will go back to dunya and then I will spend in charity for Allah Azza wa Jal. So we hope we will not be among the people actually will ask Allah Azza wa Jal second chance. So whoever Allah Azza wa Jal has bestowed them with wealth, that is actually a blessing that Allah Azza wa Jal actually has given to them. So try to spend in Allah's cause. 2.5% actually is nothing. Whatever person has, so it's not, I've given you calculation. 2.5% of 5,000 is 125. 2.5% of 50,000 is what? 1,250. Okay, the 2.5% of 500,000 is what? 12,000. 12,500. So 2.5% of 5 million is what? 125,000 only. So these are peanuts for a person who is rich. So spend this in the way of Allah Azza wa Jal, inshallah. Allah Azza wa Jal actually will give you blessing. Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that is that ma naqasul malun min sadaqatin shay'an. Whenever you give anything in charity for Allah Azza wa Jal, your wealth actually does not decrease. You might see a decrease, but in reality Allah Azza wa Jal will give you barakah, and Allah Azza wa Jal actually will increase your wealth through giving charity. So I told you earlier actually, there is actually name cards here. We will give you links to this lecture, the major sin. We'll be discussing some of the major sin of Islam. So you actually, some of them actually will distribute some of these name cards where there is an Instagram account, there's a Facebook account, there's a YouTube channel, there's a Telegram, where whoever is unable to actually follow up this lecture in the future, you can actually go to this channel and actually follow up with all the major sin. Because Allah Azza wa Jal actually said that whoever avoid the major sin, Allah Azza wa Jal will expiate his sin, and Allah Azza wa Jal will give him actually paradise. We ask Allah Azza wa Jal actually tawfiq and hidayah, and may Allah Azza wa Jal give us the guidance, always a blessing, that we will be actually guided, and make whoever actually present in this gathering, that we will be actually among the people actually with Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in paradise. Allahumma aslih lana dina alladhi huwa ismatu amrina, wa aslih lana dunya allati fiha ma'ashina, وأصلح لنا آخرتنا التي فيها معادنا واجعل الحياة زيادة لنا في كل خير واجعل الموت راحة لنا من كل شر اللهم اقسم لنا من خشيتك ما تحول به بيننا وبين معاصيك ومن طاعتك ما تبلغنا به جنتك ومن اليقين ما تهون به علينا مصائب الدنيا اللهم متعنا بأسمائنا وأبصارنا وقواتنا ما أحييتنا واجعله الوارث منا واجعل ثأرنا على من ظلمنا وانصرنا على من عادانا ولا تجعل مصيبتنا في ديننا ولا تجعل الدنيا أكبر همنا ولا مبلغ علمنا ولا تسلط علينا من لا يرحمنا ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت ونستغفرك وأتوب إليك. So everyone, the name cards, so you can come here and take the name cards. Thank you.